this is Bill, and I'm going to do something that against my better judgment, because when I was a kid growing up, my mom used to make pot roast. But pot roast was you take a pan, a baking dish, you threw this piece of chuck in there, and a package of Lipton onion soup mix and sliced tomatoes on top, and cooked it for whatever. And yeah, and all that was putting salt, a bunch of salt. And yes, we do have to salt the meat, but a little bit. But I think this is something that we all could agree has a lot more potential. So I just want to show you real quick. First of all, I need something that I can throw in the oven that I've cooked it in. So I've got a little bit of olive oil on the bottom here, and this pan has a lid and will fit in the oven. And I've talked about before how I freeze meat, and this is a chuck roast, and actually to make it manageable I cut it into two pieces. Well, this is exactly what I do. I coat it in olive oil. You can still see some olive oil in there, not much, and the oven's up temperature. And so it's coated in olive oil, so it doesn't stick together. When it's thawed, it's easy to deal with. So pretty sure my darn stove is pretty hot. There's a little olive oil in here, just enough so it doesn't. And if you're nervous about searing stuff, the biggest thing to remember is leave it alone. Alright. Now this is going to sear until it releases, and in the meantime I'm going to get a little black pepper on here. And by cutting into manageable pieces, you'll really find it's a lot easier. Gotta have some kind of flavor, right? Now, salt. Yes. I'm going to put a little salt in my hand, a pinch of salt. This is pretty much room temperature, so it's pretty good to go. And once it starts to caramelize and cook coming up the side, we'll be all set. And I hate this part because I'm one that just has to fuss with food, and this is just not my forte. But I'm going to learn. Okay, one day I'll learn. And part of it is you want a nice warm or hot pan with oil in it. So we're going to get some good color. Braising and searing, these are all kind of like lost techniques. Everyone just wants to throw it in a slow cooker and be done with it. And you really need to capture more flavor than that. Let's see how it's doing. Looks like a winner. First piece is ready. So I get that second piece ready. I'll show you what we're going to do. Look at that, we're getting a good sear. There we go. Trying to get them to fit better in there, kind of jammed up against each other. So all I need to do now, first piece is going to get flipped. Oh yeah. And I'm not worried about the salt, but I'm going to do a little more dance of pepper on that first piece. And I won't make the cover again. Looking pretty good. And you don't want this ice cold. And I know that everyone thinks that if you get meat out of the fridge ahead of time, you're going to die of like botulism or something. That's really probably not true. Unless you had to inject it to meet the botulism at some point. So as you can see, this doesn't take forever. Now, I was looking, it was funny because we were having a little educational experience at the butcher shop. I was looking at different cuts of meat, trying to explain exactly what I wanted. Well, so, you know, 3 pound roast could be this big around and this tall, or it could be this big around and this tall. And this one actually is capable of standing up on its side, you know, on edges, to cook it even more if you want to do that. It's a beauty. So why am I using this deep pot? Well, because it's a pot roast. You could sear this in a saute pan. The problem is that my beautiful stove that just finally got cleaned, you know, for its annual, would be a horrible mess. I got some really flat sides that I want to just get a little color on too, and then we're gonna kind of call it a day. But don't skip this part. You know, don't shortcut it, because we want this to be nice and tender, and you know, render all that fat out. And like I said, I don't want this to be my mother's pot roast. Don't want it to be. It needs to cook until it's tender. It needs to have some flavor to it. And when I'm done, I'm going to show you some cool tricks you can do with the meat. And it really doesn't have to cook forever. And I know that's the whole concept of a slow cooker. You put it in when you get up in the morning, and when you come home, everything's done. Unless your house burns down, because you bought one, you know, dirt cheap. And see, this is really looking good. So I'm going to have to say just about there. Oh yeah, see, even on the edges and stuff. Okay, so what are we going to do? I'm going to turn it down so I don't have to, actually I can turn it on, so I don't have to listen to this and sizzle for the next, there we go. Alright, so how am I going to make this taste good? Well, obviously as you can see I've got a ton of garlic, right? Ton of garlic. So I'm going to keep it even just low. I got some leftover carrots because I get the rabbits eat carrot tops and then we get the rest of it. And so I don't keep turning green. I use them in whatever I can, but a lot gets thrown away. So these are just crazy little carrots. Don't have to be anything special because you're not going to eat them. Oh, I'm giving away half the secret. But, so we got a handful, we're just going to toss them here. I had like 1.5 pretty good sized onions. We're just going to chuck these things in here. Now we're talking. Now it's smelling really good. I'll tell you, that garlic hitting the bottom of that pan. Oh, I think that unfortunately garlic wasn't a big seasoning when I was a child, so I overuse it just because. So I want to keep the flavoring really simple. Got a couple bay leaves we're just going to throw on here. And I really thought about it, and all of a sudden I decided I really want to put some thyme on here. So we're going to do like a tablespoon of thyme. Last but not least, now I can turn it down. I got a cup of red wine. Now I thought long and hard. Then I went to the wine store and realized that they had this wine on sale, half off, $5 a bottle. And it's a Sangiovese, so I thought, well, that's good Italian wine, that'll really work. The better the quality, the better the results. And I just want to get this poured in here. I got a cup of wine. And last but not least, I want to get any leftover stuff from the bag because that's going to help. Works A as a thickener and flavoring, right? And there was a bunch of olive oil still in there. Now, we get the lid on it and it's going to go in the oven. So I got a 350 oven here. And I want a good 20 minutes to get everything up to temperature. Then I'm going to turn it down to 250 and let it run, let it hang out in there for an hour. So obviously that would be really boring for you to sit and watch me talk for the next hour and 20 minutes. But because I forget, I got a timer set for 20 minutes. This is going in. It's not too hot. And I did have to make sure it was going to fit before I tried this. Start. So I'll see you like an hour and a half, okay? We'll be back. Alright, like this is unbelievable. Like, I was busy doing other stuff, so this sat in a 250 oven for like an hour and a half. Oh, mercy. Honestly, this is knock your socks off kind of stuff, alright? This thing's hot, so guess what's clearing it? So now we have this lovely pot roast. I'm going to get the meat out. Now, so you got all this big chunky stuff, right? So if you give it a chance to cool after you get the meat out, you could always put it in a colander, because you could save the juice and use it for, you know, gravy, for mashed potatoes, anything you want. But let me tell you, the aroma is just over the top, okay? I wasn't exactly sure how I was going to get this out, so I got like 30 utensils. Need something a little stiffer, I think. Oh yeah. And it's funny because that red wine really made a difference. And like I always say, make sure it's something you're willing to drink. Don't go buy something on sale just because. Ugh. So we got that nice and cooked down. I got all of these beautiful veggies here that I'm just gonna let cool down a little bit. And I want to keep everything on the large side, so when I pour it through the strainer, I just want the juice. Oh, yeah. I mean, I can think of 100 things to do. So I could take the bay leaf out, take an immersion blender, and just make this some kind of gravy. Okay, my stomach's growling. Alright, this is like killing me, but anywho, this is exactly how to make stew that's not what you remember as a kid. It's actually pretty high quality, the meat's good. I just can't get over it. But what I want to do, and as you saw, it kind of cooked down. Well, because I have other uses for it. I mean, you can once it cools, you can slice it and make nachos. You can do all sorts of things. So I'm gonna get this chilled and come up with some really fun recipe to do with this. Now that I've seen how good it is, and yeah, so it's going to cool down, go in the fridge, and I'm gonna make something else with it. So you'll be getting tagged in this video for the second part, part 2. Have a great day, and I'm going to work on what to do with this. Alright, so I got my pot roast all cooked, and I cooled it in the fridge, and I cut it in these little bite-sized pieces. Now I got some of my spaghetti sauce sitting here, nicely bubbling up, and I want to heat this through real good and get some flavor in here. Got spare sauce from the freezer right there. You can always tell my spaghetti sauce because it has black olives in it, right? Just want to get everything heated through, make it look good. And I bet you never thought about putting chuck roast with pasta. But let me tell you, it's like steak, man. I wasn't gonna put filet in there, so I just want to get this nice and heating through. Man, oh man. So what do you think the other big reveal I have here is? Well, I couldn't decide on what kind of pasta I wanted. So I wandered the store, and in a couple minutes I'm going to show you. It's very hot, I can tell you that much. Everybody's happy. Especially me. Because I get to have something to eat here pretty soon. Alright, so let's let that be. We got a couple minutes. And we just really want to get this kind of heated through and cooked a little bit. Want to get all those sauce and juice and everything melded together. I did sample some of this, so I do know it's really good. And I hope you figure it's a good idea, because I think it's a really good idea. So I keep this stirred. And it's funny because there's like two schools on how this all works. And growing up in a small town with lots of Italian immigrants to come and work, I learned a lot. Mostly that a lot of them think it's American to put the sauce on top. You gotta toss the pasta into the sauce. And I've kind of been playing with that, and I know I've talked about it. And I think it really does kind of make it better, especially if you're using pasta that really needs to kind of capture and hold on to the sauce. Oh yeah, looking good. Looking good. Ay caramba. And you know, all the acid from the tomato here and the wine is going to just really make this happy. Oh. I'm all excited. I've been thinking about all this food to make this week. I've been making lists and lists, and got some really good ideas I hope. This is how you really make it smell so good. Yeah, this is how I think pasta can be. You know, this is, you know, just some good red sauce, and yeah, and you know, I've said before that my spaghetti sauce is so good you could put it on shoe leather and eat it. Well, even if you had a really lousy chuck roast, it would probably be better than shoe leather, which means it would be fine for this, okay? Just dropped on here. Oh yeah. Let's see what I'm going to do here. Just in case I have to add a little more, or stir it up, or do something. I've been playing this out perfectly. Too early. All right. So I got me some lasagna noodles. Okay, just gonna throw them on here. Forget that it does that. It's a close one. I just cooked half a box because I didn't really have a whole lot. Come on. Just throw it right over. So what people don't understand is the lasagna noodles are just so like universal. It's good pasta. Gets a bad rap. But they're good. So what would I do? Well, I kind of want to make like almost like pasta sheets, which is what I was looking for. And you know, all these famous chefs, they like they make their own fresh pasta and they just kind of tear it up and call it a masterpiece. It's hot and it sticks a little bit, so let's get this in here. And you don't even have to be accurate how you do this. Different sizes is okay. I'm not one to get a measuring tape out and figure something out. What I do need to do is make sure there's enough sauce in here for all this pasta. Oh, Lord, Lord. Yeah, that's more. So let me get my spoon. Big old dollop right on top. Cut up a couple more of these. Careful, it's still really warm. Hidden pockets of boiling water can ruin your day. Just want to make sure I've separated. Now, if I didn't mind making a mess in the kitchen, I'd be tossing it all around, but then I have to clean up, so it takes all the fun out of it. So you see, you get a whole different look when you get that pasta mixed right in here. Alright, so before I get too carried away, just make some room. So you got big pasta like this, you gotta have a big bowl. Because you're gonna eat like a king. And yes, I do have to share this, so. I can certainly throw a little extra mushroom and chunk on there. That's my spaghetti sauce. Gotta have a little Parmesan cheese. And we're gonna call that a day. Day in the life. Because this is kind of like a hearty thing. It's got all the big pasta, it's got the big meat in it, and it's just got a lot of flavor. I think this is one of the more fun things to make. It's pretty easy. So all I can tell you is, I hope you try it, hope you enjoy it, and I'm going to eat some right now because I gotta enjoy this. I'll see you back with another great recipe later.